Mid-sized sedans. They haven't gotten a lot of love lately, with most families heading towards SUVs. But Peugeot have thrown a cat, or in their case a lion, amongst the pigeons with the 508. Let's check it out. It has to be said, the Peugeot 508 is one of the best looking four-door cars on the road, but the front is not its best angle. I love the back of this car. I think it's one of the best looking rear ends of any car on the market. I love this rear light design joined together with this nice black strip and this little lip here on the edge of the boot. It's very 80s, but also very contemporary. And speaking of the 80s, I think whoever designed this feature in particular must have been a bit of a Knight Rider fan. Despite outwardly looking like a sedan, this is actually a fastback, meaning that the entire back, including the rear windscreen, opens up to reveal the boot, which is 487 litres, expandable to 1,537 with the rear seats down. Other cool exterior features include 19-inch alloys, frameless doors front and back, and these awesome fang-like driving lights that also act as turn signals. I've opened lots of bonnets, but I can't figure out this one. There's got to be a thing here somewhere. No?
Kid, open the bonnet. No?
Ah, there we go. Got it. When you figure out how to open up the bonnet, you'll find a surprisingly small 1.6 litre four-cylinder turbo engine that outputs 165 kilowatts of power and 300 Newton meters of torque, driven by the front wheels through an 8-speed transmission. Average fuel economy is 6.3 litres per 100 kilometres. Now, all of that is just fine. It works really well around town, as it does for most mid-sized sedans. Not terribly exciting, but it works. Is it a turn-back car? A car so good looking that you have to turn back and look at it after you've parked it? Oh yeah. The interior is amazing. It's all these weird geometric shapes that have been sort of stacked on top of each other. It looks like something out of a 1980s anime film. And a great mixture of materials as well, with Nappa leather seats, the best looking fake carbon fibre I think I've ever seen in a car. It's actually soft to the touch. We've got more soft materials up here on top. Just some weird scratchy plastic down here. It feels very sharp next to the cordless phone charger, but other than that, it all feels very premium. The 10-inch center console screen is nice and wide and the graphics are really sharp, but the software on it is a little bit laggy and a bit fiddly. You've really got to go down deep into the menus to find some basic functions. There are some shortcut buttons along the front there, but they can be a bit tricky to see just because of the angle they sit up. The system also features Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, but for those to work, you have to have your USB plugged into the left-hand plug, which you actually can't see from the driver's seat at all. It took me a long time to figure this out, and I didn't think the car had Apple CarPlay when I first got it, but I managed to work it out eventually. Also, weirdly with Apple CarPlay, it doesn't use the full 10-inch screen. It uses a smaller cropped version like you find on a smaller screen. In my opinion, if you've got 10 inches, you might as well use it. In front of the driver is the 12.3-inch iCockpit screen, which is infinitely configurable. You can display all sorts of information, revs, maps, fuel economy information, trip computer, it's all on there. You can spend hours configuring it to whichever way you like in two different colors, copper or blue. Another very cool design feature with this car is the steering wheel. Now I have to say, this is actually one of the smallest steering wheels I've ever seen in any car, but it is awesome. It's got a flat top and a flat bottom, which is great when you're cornering because you can really hang on to it and turn it really easily. It has a nice leather wrap around it, and yeah, it just has a really great feel. The front seats also feature a massage function, which for me is a godsend. Pretty much the only major downside of a fastback design is limited rear headroom, and unfortunately for me, yep, I've got my head hard up against the ceiling. There's a big hump here where the retractable roof is stored. In terms of knee room, I'm sitting behind my own seating position. I'm 190 centimeters tall. I've got my knees hard up against the seat. No toe room either. But on the plus side, there's more of this beautiful quilted Nappa leather. We've got the armrest here with a couple of cup holders, 2 rear air vents and 2 rear USB ports as well. For a shorter person, this would be quite comfortable. For me, I'm gonna have to stick to the driver's seat, I think. So what's it like to drive? Yeah, it's pretty good. Not quite as exciting as it looks, if I'm honest. 1.6 litre turbo is adequate. I wish this car was rear-wheel drive and had a twin-turbo V6 in it though. That would be epic. On the highway, it doesn't feel like it lacks for any power. It's there and it comes on in a very linear sort of fashion. I haven't really noticed any turbo lag. There's certainly enough get up and go for most situations around the city. Gear changes happen quite quickly on the highway, but apart from the odometer moving, you can't really tell. Like most mid-size sedans, there's not a huge amount of difference between all the various drive modes of sport, eco and normal. But when you put your foot down in sport mode to do a quick little 0 to 100 dash, the engine really does get a little bit noisy. It's quite high-pitched. And this car loves second gear. It will quite happily drive around in second gear all day long. So all up, the performance is adequate, but not epic. And it's a shame because the outside of this car is epic. It looks so good. It just isn't quite there. I just want a little bit more. The leather seats are very comfortable, but there is one weird thing, and that's the headrest here. It's at a funny angle, so the top of it is just poking into the back of my head. If I lift it up a little bit, it's a bit better, but I'm still a bit like that. And I really like the flat top and bottom on the steering wheel because it just makes cornering so easy. Remove hands from steering wheel.
If you're a nervous parker, then the Peugeot can help you out there too with its self-parking function. Just follow the step-by-step instructions on the screen.
Push the P button, let go of the brake. Ooh. And we're going by ourselves. Gotta keep my finger on the button. Ooh. With a sudden stop, wheel turning, we're going forward. Maneuver completed. Easy. There's two body styles available with the Peugeot 508, the Fastback and the Wagon. Both of them cost $56,990. And that makes it pretty much level pegged with the top of the range Mazda 6, the Atenza. But I think the Peugeot actually looks a bit cooler. I mean, the Mazda 6 is a great looking car, but this car makes it look a little bit dated. The only thing is the middle of the road performance from the engine, and that's kind of par for the course with mid-size sedans. But if you're looking for a mid-sizer that does stand out from the crowd and will turn a few heads, then the Peugeot 508 could be for you.